for the 7th year in a row. Get ready for the action. Get ready for the thrills and everything you can imagine in the world of aviation and beyond from the greatest air show in the world. It's Airside TV's coverage of EAA Airventure 2009.
Well, it's a warm welcome back to EAA Airventure Oshkosh. I'm Jonathan Elliott, joined once again by Larry Grace. And Larry, it's been a busy week for us.
You know, Jonathan, it's been a fantastic and long week here. And folks, as you can see, I'm going to step aside for a second. This is a new entranceway into Airventure here. They've now developed a square here at Airventure where you can personally own one of these bricks and engrave it with your name here. But as you see behind us, this is one of the entranceway onto the flight line of Airventure. And Jonathan, like you said, we've had a fun week.
We've had a fun week, and if you're into sea aircraft, we caught up with Icon Aircraft, and they've they're developing a new aircraft called the A5. Tell us a bit more, Larry.
The A5 is a new seaplane, personal private seaplane, which is a very sharp-looking aircraft. You want to look forward to seeing the clips of that aircraft and its performance on water.
And not only water, we've been talking to some of the top aviation photographers, and in particular one aviation photographer. Tell us about that, Larry.
We had the privilege of talking with Paul Bowman, a personal friend of mine and also a fellow member of ISAP. Paul was here, and matter of fact, this current month, Paul is featured on the Flying magazine cover about air-to-air, so stay tuned for that interview also with us. Hey, it's my special privilege, and my good friend Paul Bowman is going to take a few minutes out, and we're going to chat to you guys about a little bit about aviation photography. I've been fortunate to know Paul for the last 4 to 5 years. And if you guys aren't familiar, Paul is the producer of some of these great calendars that you've seen, and also his book series. We're going to cheat a little bit here, guys. This is just one. How many books do you have now, Paul?
We have 4. Well, actually, we have about 20,000 of them, but only 4 different ones.
Paul, to me, is probably one of the, if you want to know how to do air-to-air, this is one of the guys you want to come and talk to about doing air-to-air. And I've had the privilege of talking with Paul, and both Paul and I are members of ISAP, which is the International Association of Aviation Photographers. Just look us up on the web or Google ISAP, and you'll see our site and learn a little bit more about aviation photography that way. We're a group open worldwide. We're open to both amateurs and professionals. So no matter what your skill level is, we welcome you. We hold our annual symposiums once a year where it gives you a chance to sit here and rub elbows with like to Paul and many others that we have around the world. And it's great friendships and tips and stuff were learned during that time. But
yeah, and I agree. I think the friendship is something that's extra special. I know here at Oshkosh this week I've run into a number of my friends through ISAP, and you know, if you have a problem,
yep,
you can ask for help or assistance or even borrow equipment.
And pick up a phone. I mean, the late George Hall, for example, I remember meeting him many, many years ago, and when I made my first ISAP meeting, George couldn't have been more friendlier to me, even though I had met him maybe 10 years earlier. And it's a shame that we've lost him, but both Paul and George taught me something, and a lot of the guys here will attest to it, that I try to give back. You know, we try to share. I'm willing to share what tips I've learned, or whether it's in Photoshop, using your camera. You know, there's a lot to aviation photography, but it's also fun. You know, and on a beautiful day we're going to have here at Oshkosh, and some of the shots you're going to see later will attest to that, and hopefully we'll share some of those images with you.
Yeah, and I think, again, just alluding to ISAP and the relationships and friendships that you get, I get phone calls and emails from people periodically asking for help on something or suggestions on something, and if I don't know the answer, I'll find it. And often, because I've been doing this for so many years, I do have the answer, and it makes me feel good to be able to share with someone the things that I've learned over the years. So other people have done it for me. It's time to pass it on to others. So.
As a matter of fact, what I like to do, we've got one more ISAP member close by, a good friend of mine from South Africa. We got France Daly here, who's also, and believe it or not, if you get a chance, France, what's your website again over in?
It's fpix.co.za.
Okay. If you get a chance, I want you to go and check out his website. Just see their, we'll put a link to these websites here also so you can check that out. But France is also a really great accomplished air-to-air shooter himself. And France, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the shooting in South Africa?
A lot of stuff that I've done in South Africa has been with the South African Air Force, and compiled a book on them in 2004 already. So I got to know them really well, flew a lot of stuff. From that came shooting for the customer base, which is Gripen and Hawk and those sort of companies, BAE Systems, etc. And we have a great heritage in aircraft, but not the volumes that you have in the States, but certainly ones and twos and so on, and it's very alive, and it's very free flying, so we get to do a lot of really great air-to-air work, and the guys are really enthusiastic. So, and a beautiful country, so it's everything that the States is, just in a much smaller version. We just do not have the volumes. And,
what do you think about your experience this week at here in Oshkosh and the shooting here?
I love Oshkosh. I've been here the 7th time, I think, that I've been here. And it gets better and better each time I go. Each time I come, I meet new people, and new contacts jump up, and engineer some great photography. And it's just, Oshkosh is always a great experience. In not just the aircraft, but the contact base and the people you meet, and the lovely friendship that goes on and that you take away with you. And quite often I have friends that I met here 4 years ago that I still meet today, and carry it through. So it's wonderful.
So as you can see, we can all attest to the friendship that has developed among us and the diversity that's here. Guys, thanks for taking a few minutes out to chat with the audience here. Please check us out at ISAP, or you can look me up at larrygrace.com. Paul, you're at?
Bowen, B-O-W-E-N, at air-to-air, AIRTOAIR.net.
And then France, you're?
My email address is Deely, D-E-L-Y, at avpix, avpix.co.za.
So guys, we hope to see you at ISAP in one of our future symposiums, or here at Oshkosh. Thanks.